Okay, welcome once again to hashtag Ask31. Jeff Marek alongside Elliot Friedman. Thanks so much for joining us today. And Elliot, our special guest, is someone who, if I was him, would never tire of this introduction. Please welcome to the broadcast Stanley Cup champion Jordan Binnington. I'm guessing, Jordan, you will never tire of that introduction.
It's nice to go along with the title there. Having that in the repertoire, and something we'll have forever. So, sure.
Does it ever feel weird? Like, just considering the last however months of your life. I mean, it was such a whirlwind, such a fantastic story, culminating in a Stanley Cup victory. Here we are now with the NHL on pause. Like, I always wonder, at what point does the gravity of what you did sink in? Like, at what point did you allow yourself to say or understand what happened last year with you in St. Louis?
I haven't really had a moment where I'm not walking around knowing I'm thinking that I'm the Stanley Cup champion and how the year went last year. It's more of like if I'm, for example, driving by myself and the music's going, and then you kind of have a small flash of where you're at and what's gone on, and it's a proud moment. And at the same time, for me, it's kind of just, for some reason, I just like to keep looking forward and then kind of trying to discover what's coming next. And even during this quarantine, they've been playing the reruns of our playoffs last year, and rewatching the series, the final series, the game 7, the whole playoffs, and hearing the announcers like Panger and JK just talk. And it's cool to hear the perspective before they knew we were going to win, just hearing their play-by-play and expressing what the team's gone through, and how the players how hard they've worked and stayed positive throughout the whole season. And so I think that those are moments where it kind of stands out. But for the most part, I'm just kind of looking for more and just keep trying to grow.
I'm curious, Jordan, when you watch those games, was there anything that you saw that you were kind of, oh, I forgot about that? Like, what a moment, or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. For example, like the earlier rounds, you don't really think about it, and I watch plays that happen or goals, and there was one last night where I think Sundqvist scored when the net got dislodged, and they were kind of reviewing it to tie the game to 2-2 with 6 minutes left or something, and I was like, oh yeah, forgot about that play. There's a lot of stuff that kind of goes over your head, and you just try to be in the moment. And I think there's some people who have the ability to remember everything, but for me, I don't know. Some things I was watching, I was like, I completely forgot that happened.
One of the questions off YouTube we get is sort of similar to that from V Karma. How did you feel going into Game 7 last season? Because we can all recall Game 6. I mean, St. Louis was ready to party, and then here we go, Game 7. How did you feel?
Yeah, it was the bus ride to the Game 6 in St. Louis. We were driving through the streets, and people were already going crazy. Like, so it was kind of I don't know if it was a good thing for us to see in a way. And then we got on the plane, and we got to Boston, and it was just business as usual, hanging out in the suite at the hotel with the guys. And leading up to Game 7, I just wanted to leave it all out there and kind of finish what I started and what we started as a team. And it was truly just such a great story. So I think that's the way it had to end.
One of the things that I heard that the players really appreciated was when you guys flew back from Boston to St. Louis, Doug Armstrong, the GM, said only the players and that group, like the coaches, the players, the support staff, the executives, only them on the plane. And for a number of players has said that was really special. It was just the group that did it. What do you remember about that flight home?
It was a feeling you can't really explain, because you put so much work and had so much discipline to get to where you're at, and then you win, and you're almost your body's kind of exhausted because you can stop working, but you're like, all right, now it's time for a different kind of excitement, like time to party a little bit. And I think the plane was awesome. I think everyone was just hopping around seats and talking to different guys one-on-one, and it was a great feeling knowing and just what we've done, and reminiscing, and just trying to just get to be free and get our freedom back, and have fun. And we knew that we had a good stretch ahead of us. So yeah, that flight was something else.
The final question I have on this one, Jeff, is Jordan, were you one of the people that participated in the absolute drowning of your owner, Tom Stillman, in the Stanley Cup?
I don't think I did. I saw that though.
Guys, I've had a few guys tell me they've never seen anything like that, where the owner absolutely got waterboarded, was the term, in the Stanley Cup and the champagne.
Yeah, we were just throwing it on everyone. We didn't care. It was, but I don't think that was me. I don't know if I was a part of
that. Okay, two-part question here. One from Ronan, who was your favorite player growing up? And two, from Matt, who is your least favorite forward to play against? Who's your favorite player growing up, and who's your least favorite forward to play against?
Being a Toronto kid, I like the goalies, whether it was Cujo, Ed Belfour, and then as I kind of, even when I was in junior and starting pro, I like to watch Fleury and Pecorine a lot. I'd say those are my guys, but I'd say my favorite player growing up would probably be Cujo. Mm-hmm. And then least favorite player to play against. Least favorite to me is kind of more fun, I think, in the aspect of going at it with a guy or make it interesting in that regards. I'd say it's always fun playing Dallas and going up against Jamie Benn. And then I don't know. Yeah, we'll just go with that for now.
Okay, speaking of forwards, so I was texting with an ex-teammate of yours last night, and I said, what do you find interesting about Jordan Binnington? And right away he texts back, I think he wants to be a forward because any chance he gets when he plays out, he goes at it, whether it's, pro guys that are out there, minor league hockey, whatever, it doesn't matter. Whenever he's out playing forward in our pickup games, he goes game 7. Do you secretly want to be a forward, Jordan?
It's crossed my mind. There was times where when things weren't going well as a goalie and I got some action as a player, I played like a third period a few years ago, and then I kind of got in a bad spot and it wasn't going well and I wasn't happy and I had this crazy thought in my mind. I had this crazy thought to just, maybe I retire from goalie, I go off the grid for like a year and train player and then try and make it so I'll play a first pro game. I'll play in the NHL as a goalie, and then I'll try and make a pro game as a player. But I don't know if I got the frame for it. But I definitely have a lot of fun playing out and shooting at goalie schools. Yeah.
I got to tell you, I'm fascinated by that because Jose Bautista is trying to make a comeback now as a pitcher.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching this, and first of all, I root for it because I think it would be incredible after he had such a great career as a hitter if he came back as a pitcher. So I got to tell you, Jordan, if you could ever do that, play shift game as a forward, I would be right behind that to see that occur. I think that would be an unbelievable story.
Yeah, it would be a cool story, but even if for me, I was like, you know what, even if I play in like the East Coast or just some kind of pro level, it's an accomplishment and it's something that's never been done. But yeah, it'd probably be fun to watch. I don't think I don't know how it would go for me. The guys would probably go pretty hard at me just trying to prove a point. But yeah, I don't know. It's something you dream about. But
I think you'd like it. I think you'd like it, Jordan. I don't know if your accountant would like it so much, though.
Yeah,
that might be a drawback. From Clyde on Facebook, what did you do during your day with the Stanley Cup?
My day with the Stanley Cup was pretty special. I think I hit most areas I wanted to, and the only thing I didn't get to do was bring it back to Owen Sound, which is where I played junior hockey. But it's just too short of a time in the day, and but I brought it to my grandparents' house, both grandparents, and the police station. I had a little parade in Richmond Hill, Ontario. And then we had a party bus the whole day. So I was kind of having a good time with my buddies and friends throughout the day, throughout the ride. And then I had a party for the adults and, the parents. sorry, I should say the parents who, I growing up in minor hockey, they had a relationship with my parents, so it was kind of my parents' friends and that regards, and then my buddy's parents, and then at nighttime, I had one for kind of the people in Toronto, and just yeah. So I had a pretty fun night that night, and it was a good day. It was exhausting. Shoulders were tired from lifting the cup. So many people want to get a picture with it, and you can't just hold it. You have to lift it over your head for the picture.
Yeah.
And holy, it was tough, but yeah, I'm not complaining. It was great, but yeah.
I got to tell you, if my shoulders were going to be in pain, I would take it for that reason. That's
sure.
a good reason to be sore.
For sure.
I have a friend whose son is a goalie, and he said that the thing that he wanted to ask you most about was your confidence. He sent his son the story of, Martin Brodeur saying you should go to the ECHL, or trying to convince you to go to the ECHL, and you said, no, I'm not going to do it. And he watched some of your interviews last year, and he said you always seemed so confident, and that's what he's trying to build in his son, like not only for goaltending but for life. Believe in yourself. Where did your confidence come from, and what advice would you give to a young goaltender about keeping it?
I would say that it takes time, and just like a good relationship, like a fine wine, it takes time to build, and it's something that I worked on for a long time, for probably 3 or 4 years, the past 3 or 4 years, mostly. And I would say everything adds up is a term I like to use. And whether it's, putting your dishes in the dishwasher right away, or like making your bed, and just doing little things that add up to know that you have everything in control, and you can just keep building off of that. And, from a goaltending standpoint, it's just doing the work, being prepared to enter anything that comes at you. And the more you do to feel prepared and get your rest, and at the same time, it goes a long way. And you don't really notice it until there's a moment where you kind of come out on top, where you usually would think about it, or if that makes sense at all. But basically, it just hits you, and you're like, wow, okay, it's working. And then it's good to get a little taste of that, and you keep building. And it's just a lot of self-discipline, really, to me. And and be open to hearing things and trying new things, and seeing what works for you, and listen to people who are successful, and mentors. So I don't know if that's variation.
You know what?
That makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense. When I think of a couple of different things with you, because I've watched you play going back to Owen Sound in the OHL, and I can recall, and it still looks the same to this day. You talk about, repetition and doing things the right way over and over again. That routine that you have, whether it's skate to the corner, hit your chest, the hand motions, all of that, I can't tell. Like, if I just close my eyes or think like, okay, is he wearing an Owen Sound jersey right now, or is he wearing a St. Louis Blues jersey? Like, that routine has remained the same going back to when you played in junior hockey, Jordan.
What were you talking about? Sorry.
The one where you that routine that you have where you skate to the corner, you hit your chest, your hand movements, all that. You've been doing that ever since I first started watching you in Owen Sound.
That's like to the back to the minor hockey days, even. I don't know why I do that. It's just a habit, I guess. But it's just it's your norm, and you kind of just makes you feel comfortable. And it happened because I think I started doing it originally was because I just stood in the crease, and then my dad kind of was like, you got to move around, or it might have been him, might have been someone else, but just move around a little bit. Don't just stand in the net the whole time. Like, you know what I mean? So then I started doing it, and then I kind of created my own little habits, and I took things from other guys that I thought had some swagger, and I kind of made it my own way. And yeah, it's kind of where it stems from.
We've got a question here, Jeremy on YouTube. Between all your current and ex-teammates, who's most likely to become a coach?
I'll say that, Ryan O'Reilly's, he has everything you need to be a great coach, but I don't know if he wants to be one at all, but he would be an outstanding coach, and just his work ethic and his mind for the game is incredible. And he's a great leader. So I would say he's up there to be a great coach if he wanted to be.
Okay, one of the questions here hints at something that I was hoping we could get to today on the show. From the new patty cakes, did you ever get into a fight? One of the things about you, Jordan, this goes back to Owen Sound as well. You've always been a gamer, whether it's trying to go after Michael Hauser, netminder for the London Knights, or anybody else. You've always been pretty aggressive out there. Have you had one yet? Have you had your goalie fight yet? We know you haven't in the NHL. Did you previous?
I've had a couple square ups where we make it to center ice and you do the whole dance of dropping your stuff and getting the crowd going, everyone on their feet, and then the refs come in. So you kind of, I don't know, it didn't work out. But then a couple years ago when I was in Providence, I just got sent down, and we were playing in Hershey, and it was the Hall of Fame night or alumni for Hershey, and so there was a lot of people there. It was full barn, and we ended up taking a 4-0 lead, and then one of our rookies there was a delayed penalty, and then one of our rookies was kind of getting the scrum, and this guy was just teeing off on him, and I was like skating to the bench for the delayed penalty, and I kind of took a wide swing back to my net, and it was actually against my old teammate, goalie partner, Phoenix Copley, and he was looking at me, and then I kind of gave him the head nod. It's funny how it all goes down and looking from the outside in, but in the moment you're kind of like, we doing this, and but that's the closest I've gotten to was a fight, and it was against my buddy. So you don't really want to hurt each other. It was more for the entertainment aspect of it, but
Yeah.
and just feeling it out, and it's tough. Like, I got to tip my hat to all the fighters out there, because I didn't even get in a fight and my neck was killing me because I guess you're holding up just the way you're moving your body. So it's not easy when you see these guys going at it, and especially the mind for it. But that's my closest kind of taste to a fight was with a buddy.
Well, what did you think then of Cam Talbot and Mike Smith this year?
I think that was great. That whole game, just the rivalry and it's entertaining, and the boys were passionate. I like the passion in the game, and why not? I don't remember what the score was at the time, but pretty much had to fight when there's a line brawl going on in an Edmonton Calgary game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm good with it.
I know you're going to love this question, Jordan, but is the Bieber thing going to happen?
Hopefully.
It is, eh? Because I heard there was talk about doing it in All-Star Weekend. So can you kind of walk us through where it went and where it is?
Yeah, it's kind of tough to do mid-season. I didn't want to, it's tough to do with the season going on, and we got our season, and that's the first and foremost. And so I was trying to push it off till the summertime, and hopefully we can find a good time to do it then. And it works well with his schedule, and he's obviously putting in the work, and he's preparing himself for it before the COVID. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it goes down, and hopefully it's some good content, and it's fun, and it's for a good cause. So that's important.
Where are you thinking of doing it?
It has to work for both sides, right? So
yes,
I'm not going to release that information to you right now.
Well, you've given me some work now. Thanks, I appreciate it. I got something to do.
Yeah.
He's being trained by Joey Hishon. Does that frighten you? Your former teammate from junior.
Yeah, Joey's pretty smooth. He's pretty creative. That guy. His nickname used to be Hishon the Magician. So, yeah, I'm aware of that, but I think I've won a championship with Hish, so I think his loyalty should really lie with me. But same hometown. He broke the news to me, and he said I got to do it, and I said that's fine, and I understand. So we're having fun with it, and we'll see what Hish can teach.
Let me just say, I think it's great that you're doing this. I think it's the kind of thing that hockey needs. And good on you and Joey and Justin Bieber. And totally. I'm sure Austin Matthews will be around this somehow. So I think it's fantastic that it could happen. I think it's exactly what the sport needs. Good on you guys.
Yeah, appreciate that. We'll see.
All right, here's an interesting one. I'm curious about this as well. From Calvin Keys. What did you say to the refs after they allowed the Timo Meier hand pass goal?
Um, I think that's one of those moments where you just black out and you're not really sure. But I wasn't happy. And then I remember they told me, they were like, hey, man, like, we can't do anything about it. And then I was just like, all right, like, what am I going to say anymore that's going to change this? So I said, all right, and grab your stuff. Let's get out of here. You know?
That's what people have told me that Craig Berube's biggest strength is, that after you guys lost that game, he said, we can't cry about it. And he's really good at refocusing the group on what's the next step. And, just can you talk about what Berube is like in the room and the positive effect he's had on your team?
Yeah, he's got a great presence from the first day I was there, and that I've seen. I had him in Chicago as well 2 years prior, and the players really enjoy playing for him, and the relationships are good. Yeah, as a goalie, you kind of you're the goalie, he's the coach. You're playing. It's not too much more than that. But I really think he has a great presence, and he's a huge part of our success over the last couple of years, and I enjoy playing for him.
Okay, I want to get here. When I say the name Red Dog, what comes to your mind right away?
Legend. He'll like that one. Yeah, he's all time, that guy. I've had a constant relationship with him, constant communication, at least once a week, I'd say, for going on 9, 10 years, 8, whatever. We'll say 9 or 10 years. And maybe even more, actually, now that I think about it. But he's great, and he's always been there to bounce stuff off of. And he keeps it light. If you've ever talked to him, he's a pretty funny guy. And yeah, we've got a good relationship.
And just for our viewers know, Red Dog is the goalie coach with Owen Sound. He's worked with you previous, has a goalie school in Barrie, Ontario. His name is Greg Redquest, played one game in the NHL. And Elliot, you know that story very well with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And he's one of those guys. I mean, you talk to anyone on Owen Sound, he's that one guy from the organization that seems to keep in touch with everybody, no matter how many guys roll through junior hockey.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to keep to have someone in the room that can kind of connect and keep it light and make people laugh when things aren't going well, and also know when to tighten it up when it needs to be tightened up. And yeah, just thinking back to our goalie sessions in Owen Sound and how much fun we had. And my roommate was the shooter, and we'd always be messing with him. And he can take it, he can dish it. I wouldn't prank that guy because he's a good pranker. He'll get you back way harder. So just stay away, probably.
That's awesome.
I wanted to ask you about your team this year. You guys are very much on the road to giving it a great run to repeat as the Stanley Cup champions. How much did you guys talk about that much? Or even now that we're in the pause, have you guys talked about it as a group? For example, on that Zoom chat you did about how much you want to come back and try and repeat.
Yeah, that's the upsetting part or frustrating part is, you work so hard all season to get to this point and be able to compete. And this is where, history's made, and you really make a name for yourself, and you create these memories with the team and your buddies and your coaching staff, your family. So I'm getting a little off topic there, but yeah, we definitely were aware that we had a good team, and I think we were working great together, and we were continuing to build every day. And I think the extent of the playoffs last year, we really learned a lot on how to kind of control our emotions and kind of what it takes. And it's hard. It's tough. You got to self-discipline. So I think we were prepared and ready to go. And hopefully this is over sooner rather than later, and we can get back to work.
You're a St. Louis e-bug, by the way. Tyler Stewart just DM'd me and said, say hey to Jordan Binnington for me. What did you make of the David Ayers story this year as a goalie?
First of all, what's up, Stewie? That was interesting. I think obviously create a lot of buzz around the game, and people have different outlooks about it. But I know that we were out for dinner, and I was with about 6 of the guys, and we ended up having it on our phones just to see what was going to happen with who was with him and net, and obviously the storyline. And buddy Jordan Schmaltz, who was with the Leafs and the Marlies, and he was telling me about him during the game, so it made it even that much better. And yeah, it's a crazy story, and I think that's very special for him and his family, and you know, people can kind of get behind that.
All right, this one comes from maybe the Owen Sound Attack's #1 fan, Sam McKee, who's a producer at The Fan in Toronto. Ask Jordan what Bayshore South means to him.
So Bayshore is the arena in Owen Sound that we played in, and I guess I'll tell one story from the Bayshore.
Okay.
After we won in Mississauga, so in junior, we won the OHL, the title in Mississauga, and had to take a 2-hour drive back to Owen Sound on the bus. And it was cool when we got back to the Bayshore Arena. It was full of fans, and this must have been at past midnight, I would say, and it was just full of fans, and everyone was cheering and so happy. And so that's probably my favorite memory from being there.
Bayshore, by the way, is rumored to have the best fries in the entire OHL. Confirm or deny?
Ask Red Dog.
That's where he is during the games. He's up in the concession stands ordering his fries.
Yeah.
You know, I just wanted to ask you, a big day. There's not a lot of business being done right now, but Sammy Bleh got an extension for the Blues yesterday. And, you know, he's somebody who's stuck around St. Louis, obviously a friend of yours. Just what does it mean for you to see a teammate of yours get rewarded during these times?
It's nice to see that, you know, business is still in action. And for him, I've played with him since Chicago as well, so a few years, and he's grown so much, and he's really a talented player, and he loves the game, and he's very skilled. So I think you'll be seeing a lot more of him if you haven't already. And you know, I'm excited for him. It's a great news to see for all of us.
I want to conclude on a couple of things here. One, this is an ex-teammate of yours from the OHL. Let me see if you can guess who this is. In your rookie year, he was going into his third. He had a good second year, so he was looked at as a leader. And he says, Mark Reeds told me to take care of him, and about a month into the season, I looked in his locker and I found 3 things. A bag of Doritos, a bag of Skittles, and a Coke. There's some heat for you.
Did he turn into a reporter, this person?
If we looked in your locker now, would we still find Doritos, Skittles, and a Coke?
No, I don't think you'd see that. And I think he's talking about his own locker. I don't know about if that's happened to me. But I'm going to say that's maybe Joey Hishon.
You got it.
Yeah, that's fair.
What would we find in your locker now, Jordan?
I'm trying to take care of the hair. I'm growing it out a little bit now with the COVID. So I'd say some product and some good shampoo when you'd find, and just probably like 4 hats because you alternate.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Look good, feel good, play good. Elliot, last one to you.
Yeah, last one for me, Jordan, is what are you doing to keep sharp? You know, especially for a goaltender, you can't really face pucks or anything like that. So what do you do to keep sharp now?
I got my own stuff going on.
I could guess we're not getting any more on that.
No, I'm just messing. I got a couple programs that I'm working on, and I'm trying to take care of the body, and you know, even trying to do some eye stuff, that eye training for whatever you know about that. It's interesting stuff, and I'm trying to make the most of the time and keep the brain sharp and kind of stay disciplined. And you know, yeah, I'm trying to learn the guitar, which is tough to do. Can you guys play the guitar?
Ooh.
I can do drums.
How's the drummer sing? Yeah, how's a drummer? Anything intricate and actually bordering on art, I can't do. Drums, you just hit things. That was always simple to me.
Okay, yeah, it's cool to see. It's tough to do for sure, and your fingers feel it. But I think it's a good opportunity to maybe come up with something to show for it and make the most of the opportunity with this downtime that I can, and try and give back in ways that I can, and you know, so just take care of yourself. And I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'll let you guys take it away.
Constant self-improvement. Jordan Binnington, from putting on the pads to a guitar pick and getting the strap on and playing the guitar. Listen, Jordan, thanks so much for taking time today. I know it's a difficult time for everybody. Look forward to seeing you back on the ice and defending the Stanley Cup with the St. Louis Blues. Thanks for staying on with us here today a little bit longer than you thought. Thanks for this.
Thanks for having me.
There is Jordan Binnington of the St. Louis Blues. And with that, we'll wrap up and thank everyone for joining us either on YouTube or on Facebook. We're back on next Tuesday and Thursday for more editions of #Ask31. On behalf of Elliot Friedman and our producer, Drew Livingston, thanks so much for stopping by. We will talk to you on Tuesday. Be safe. Be well.